Well, McDaniel Glen Apartments in southeast Atlanta was not on that list of known trouble spots. It was not on the list of developments in which discrepancies were found by HUD's Attorney General. But a worker on the project called me to tell me that some of the same things had happened here. He was willing to talk, but he asked that his identity be kept secret because he feared he would lose his job.
There were a lot of things. There were code violations, such as they're supposed to airtight the furnace closet, and that air cannot come in and out, and there's not supposed to be exposed wood, but there was exposed wood all through that. And when the vent pipe goes up through the roof, there's not supposed to be anything touching it, but they would constantly run things up against it. And there were things like the fireproof sheathing that goes on the outside of a building. There were holes in it. It was all torn up and nobody had ever fixed it. There were also things like ceiling joists that had splits and big knots that would cover about 90% of the two-by-four, so there'd be very little wood to support it. With the stair braces, there were splits in it, and there was less than 1 inch of wood protecting it, so if there was any weight put on it, they would collapse.
Would you say that many of these violations that you saw were dangerous?
Yes, they were, very much so. And we always told my foreman, and he would go to the foreman that controlled the entire job, and he'd say, well, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. And we would constantly go to him and tell him what was happening, but they would never do anything.
What about the inspectors? Weren't these places inspected?
Well, one project was, but another project I was on was not. Out of 14 buildings, I know that 2 were definitely inspected, but the other 12, I don't know. One project I was on, they had brick walls going up the entire 2 stories, and they would go and measure it, and I know for sure one time the entire brick wall was a 1/4 inch off. So they tore the entire wall down and threw away all the bricks and put up another wall. They did this 4 times on one building that I know of for sure.